Have you ever felt that subtle distance in her eyes, the way she seems physically close, but emotionally miles away? It's the kind of feeling you can't quite put into words, yet it gnaws at you. You might even find yourself replaying moments in your mind, searching for signs, desperately hoping you're just imagining it, but deep down, there's a quiet truth your intuition already senses. Something is off. Before we go any further, I want you to take a moment and consider this. In relationships, love is not just about words or occasional affection. It's about consistent emotional energy, the kind that fills you up rather than leaves you questioning your worth. And when it's missing, your mind starts sending signals you shouldn't ignore. Now, I know this isn't easy to hear. Many men have been taught that love is silent, that effort should be assumed, or that noticing a lack of affection is a flaw in their own perception. But it's not about you. Women, like men, communicate their feelings every day, not just through what they say, but through subtle patterns in behavior, attention, and care. Learning to recognize these patterns isn't about manipulation. It's about clarity, about understanding reality instead of living in confusion. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to guide you through some of the most common, yet often overlooked signs that a woman might not truly love you in the way you hope. These are not stories of cruelty or blame. They are observations grounded in human psychology, patterns that happen over and over, often silently. And before we go any deeper, if you want to truly understand her mind and your relationship, hit the like button and subscribe. This isn't about hype. It's about giving yourself the tools to see clearly, so you can protect your heart and invest your energy wisely. So, let's start with the first signal, one that most men dismiss because it seems small, almost trivial. Yet it carries weight. It's her emotional availability, or the lack of it. When someone genuinely loves you, they show up not just physically, but emotionally. They share moments of joy, disappointment, even fear. They let you in. But when she distances herself, when conversations are superficial, and when vulnerability is consistently missing, that's your first warning. It's subtle. It may appear as she's busy or she's independent, but the truth is deeper. Emotional absence is often masked, and men who care deeply tend to rationalize it, telling themselves she's just stressed or she's not ready yet. And yes, life is complicated. But over time, love manifests through effort, attention, and investment. If you find yourself constantly reaching for her while she rarely reaches back, that imbalance speaks volumes. Understanding this isn't about creating fear, it's about awakening awareness. Love should lift you, not leave you doubting your own feelings or second-guessing every interaction. And recognizing the signs early can save you years of confusion, heartache, and unmet expectations. One of the hardest truths to accept is that actions often speak louder than words, and sometimes words can be a trap. A woman might tell you she cares, that she values you, that she loves you, but if her actions consistently contradict her words, that's your mind's way of waving a red flag. Think about it like this. Love is an energy, a consistent pattern of giving, attention, and care. Words alone are fragile. They can be rehearsed, they can be convenient, they can even be manipulated. But actions are the language of the heart. And when her actions are inconsistent, minimal, or absent, it creates an invisible gap, a space you fill with hope, imagination, or rationalizations. Consider the little things. She cancels plans frequently, but rarely apologizes or offers alternatives. She doesn't ask how your day went unless it's convenient. She avoids serious conversations about the future, and when you bring up your feelings, she deflects or changes the subject. None of these are necessarily dramatic, but together they paint a clear picture. Emotional energy isn't flowing in both directions. Another subtle pattern to notice is how she prioritizes you, or doesn't. Love isn't measured by grand gestures alone. It's in the small, repeated choices. Does she carve out time for you even when life is busy? Does she make an effort to listen when you speak? Or is her attention always elsewhere, always conditional, always fleeting? Men often underestimate this because we're trained to chase reassurance through words rather than observe the reality of behavior. But the truth is undeniable if you pay attention. Her priorities reveal her true feelings. And here's something many men struggle to admit: the excuses. We live in a culture where explanations can feel sufficient. She's stressed, she's busy, she's just not ready. Yes, life does throw challenges, but love adapts. Love finds a way. If someone truly cares, they move toward you, not away from you, even when life is messy. Excuses are the invisible barrier between words and reality. When they appear repeatedly, they're not just small annoyances. They're patterns signaling that her heart may not be fully invested. It's painful to recognize this because humans naturally want to believe the person we care for is fully committed. We seek proof in isolated moments: a smile, a compliment, a fleeting show of affection. But love is cumulative, built over time through consistent emotional effort. Tiny gestures, repeated day after day, matter far more than grand proclamations that appear occasionally. By observing actions without filtering them through hope or denial, you gain clarity. You learn to trust your intuition over your desire, and this clarity is essential, because the longer you ignore these patterns, the more your heart and energy are consumed by uncertainty. Recognizing emotional detachment is not a condemnation of her, nor a reflection of your worth. It is simply a skill. It is awareness. Understanding this pattern allows you to step back and see what truly exists, rather than what you wish existed. And as we go deeper, you'll begin to notice even more subtle signals, ones that are nearly invisible until you learn to read them. Signals that most men completely miss, and that keep them trapped in relationships where love is, at best, uneven. Now, let's talk about intimacy, not just physical, but emotional intimacy, the kind that builds trust, connection, and security. One of the most revealing signs that a woman may not truly love you is how she navigates closeness. When someone is emotionally invested, they allow themselves to be vulnerable. They share fears, dreams, and doubts. They let you see the parts of them that aren't perfect, that aren't polished, that aren't convenient. But when emotional distance appears, it's subtle, almost imperceptible at first. She might be physically present, laughing at your jokes, enjoying your company, but the deeper layers remain shut. Conversations stay surface level, serious topics are avoided, and she rarely shares her inner world. You feel her there, but only half there. It's a quiet tension, a sense that something is missing, and it creates a constant undercurrent of doubt. Another pattern is her responsiveness to your needs. Not just the obvious things, like helping when you're in trouble, but the small, everyday gestures that show care. When she doesn't notice your mood, when she doesn't check in, when she dismisses subtle cues that you're struggling, it's not just forgetfulness, it's emotional disengagement. Love requires attention, consistency, and effort, and when these are missing, it signals a deeper gap. Then there's the way she handles conflict. True emotional investment shows itself in willingness to resolve issues. If she withdraws, shuts down, or becomes defensive every time the relationship requires honest communication, it's a sign that her attachment is conditional. She may care about comfort, routine, or even companionship, but emotional love, the kind that holds through difficulty, is often absent. And here's something that men often ignore: her consistency in communication. Love is not about texting every hour or constant check-ins, but it's about reliability. When she disappears without explanation, gives vague answers, or only communicates when it benefits her, it's more than just a quirk of personality. It's a signal of limited emotional investment. It's painful to recognize because the moments she is present feel real, warm, even intimate. You start to hold on to those moments, thinking they are enough to outweigh the gaps. But love is about the pattern, not the exceptions. It's about the way someone makes you feel over time, not just in flashes of connection. And when the pattern is absence, avoidance, or inconsistency, your heart senses the truth long before your mind admits it. Understanding these subtle cues gives you power, not control over her, but control over your clarity, your choices, and your energy. Recognizing emotional distance early allows you to stop investing where it isn't reciprocated, to protect your own emotional well-being, and to seek relationships where intimacy is mutual, consistent, and nourishing. Emotional closeness is not something to compromise on. It's the foundation of love. And when it's missing, no amount of hope or rationalization can replace the quiet truth your intuition already knows. Another revealing sign that love may be absent is how she uses her time and attention. Love isn't just expressed in words or fleeting affection. It's reflected in priorities. A woman who truly cares will make you part of her life, not just fit you in when it's convenient. When her attention is consistently scarce, delayed, or distracted, it's more than just being busy. It's a window into how central you are to her world. Think about how she spends her energy. Does she show curiosity about your day, your thoughts, your dreams? Or does she only engage when it suits her, when it's easy, or when it benefits her? Love moves toward connection. When that movement is missing, it's a subtle but persistent signal that her heart is elsewhere, even if she's physically present. Men often rationalize this behavior, telling themselves she's independent or she's stressed. And yes, life is complicated. Stress and responsibilities do impact anyone's capacity to engage fully. But love adapts. Someone who truly values you finds ways to be present despite challenges. Patterns reveal reality. Occasional lapses happen, but a continuous lack of effort is telling. Another layer to notice is her responsiveness. If you reach out and she's slow to reply, distracted or dismissive, pay attention. Not because a single delayed message matters, but because repeated patterns of disengagement indicate emotional prioritization, or the lack of it. It's not about controlling her or monitoring every detail. It's about observing where your relationship sits on her list of priorities, and that tells you volumes about her investment in you. Time and attention are also revealed in the little things. Does she remember important events, ask about plans, or follow through on commitments? Or does she let promises slip, shrug off small gestures, and act as though your needs are optional? These are not grand betrayals. They're subtle clues that love is inconsistent at best. And the more you ignore them, the more your energy is drained, quietly, over time. Here's a harder truth. Men are often conditioned to accept this behavior, to rationalize it, to overcompensate. We try harder, give more, hope it will spark reciprocity. But love is not about persistence alone. It's about mutual investment, attention, and care. If those are missing, no amount of effort from one side can substitute for true emotional engagement. The challenge is recognizing it without bitterness. Observing these patterns is not about blame. It's about clarity. It's about understanding that love manifests in presence, attention, and prioritization. When these are absent, the relationship is unbalanced. Your heart is giving more than it receives. And over time, that imbalance becomes impossible to ignore. Learning to see these subtle patterns equips you to make choices that honor your emotional well-being. It's about stepping back, observing without justification, and acknowledging reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. This is where clarity begins, and where you start to understand whether love is truly present, or simply performative. Consistency is one of the most powerful mirrors of true love, and one of the most overlooked. A woman's feelings aren't measured by dramatic gestures or occasional attention. They're revealed in the way she shows up day after day. Love isn't a mood, it's a pattern, and patterns are rarely accidental. Consider her behavior over time. Does she follow through on what she says she will do? Does she make efforts that feel steady, reliable, and dependable? Or does her affection fluctuate like the weather, warm and close one day, distant and cold the next? Emotional inconsistency is exhausting because it keeps you guessing, constantly seeking reassurance, and slowly eroding trust. Men often mistake these highs and lows for passion or mystery, but in reality, unpredictability often masks a lack of true commitment. Another subtle indicator is how she treats you when things aren't convenient. Love isn't tested when everything is easy, it's tested when life is complicated. Does she make sacrifices for the relationship, small or large? Does she adjust her life to include you, to share responsibilities, to nurture the bond? Or does she only show effort when it costs her nothing? Pay attention to these moments. They reveal priorities more than any declaration ever could. Communication patterns also reflect consistency. Someone who loves you will communicate in a way that builds trust, reassurance, and connection. If she disappears during conflicts, avoids important conversations, or frequently changes her mind about plans and commitments, these are subtle but profound signals. The behavior says far more than words ever could. Her heart may not be fully engaged, even if she verbally reassures you otherwise. Men often rationalize this inconsistency as a personality quirk, a bad day, or a phase. But repeated patterns over weeks, months, or even years reveal the truth. Love is not inconsistent. It's steady, present, and reliable. A relationship where you constantly adjust to someone else's unpredictability is one where emotional investment is imbalanced. And imbalance slowly erodes connection, confidence, and self-worth. It's painful to see because humans naturally cling to hope. We remember the moments of closeness, the rare gestures of warmth, and we let them overshadow the gaps. But love isn't measured in moments. It's measured in the overall rhythm of presence, care, and attention. When these are irregular, you're not experiencing love in its full, authentic form. Recognizing inconsistency is not about judging her. It's about honoring yourself. It's about acknowledging that your heart deserves reliability, mutual effort, and steady investment. Accepting this truth allows you to make conscious choices rather than getting trapped in cycles of doubt, hope, and disappointment. And ultimately, it's this awareness that empowers you to seek relationships where love is real, consistent, and reciprocated. The quiet signals are often louder than the obvious ones. The pauses, the absences, the small broken promises, they speak volumes about emotional presence. Once you learn to read them, you'll never confuse performative affection with genuine love again. One of the most revealing tests of love is how she responds to your growth, independence, and boundaries. Love doesn't fear strength, it celebrates it. When a woman truly cares, she supports your ambitions, respects your limits, and encourages your self-improvement. But when love is absent, her reactions to these aspects of your life often tell a different story. Observe how she responds when you set boundaries. Healthy boundaries are essential in any relationship. They show self-respect, emotional maturity, and clarity about your needs. A woman who loves you will understand and honor them, even if it challenges her expectations. But if she resents, ignores, or tries to manipulate your limits, it's a subtle warning sign that her feelings may not be aligned with true care. Emotional resistance to boundaries often masks a desire to control attention or maintain comfort rather than invest authentically. Another key indicator is her reaction to your personal growth. When you pursue your goals, take on new challenges, or prioritize self-improvement, a woman who genuinely loves you will feel inspired, proud, and supportive. She may even push you gently to be better, to reach further. Conversely, if she responds with criticism, indifference, or passive-aggressive comments, it signals discomfort with your progress. This isn't about jealousy, it's about emotional investment. Someone fully committed wants to grow with you, not subtly pull you back into complacency. Pay attention also to how she reacts when you focus on your own life. Relationships are not about constant availability. They are about mutual respect for individuality. If she becomes distant, cold, or argumentative when you assert independence, it reflects a lack of emotional maturity and a limited investment in your well-being. True love allows freedom without fear, supports autonomy without insecurity, and celebrates individuality without ego. These reactions often feel confusing at first because love is intertwined with familiarity, companionship, and comfort. You may hold on to moments of affection, telling yourself that she cares despite these signs. But over time, patterns emerge. Discomfort with your growth, resistance to boundaries, and indifference to your independence are not minor flaws. They are indicators that her emotional attachment may not be as deep as you hope. It's essential to observe without judgment. Understanding these patterns is not about resentment, it's about clarity. It's about recognizing that a relationship built on partial investment will inevitably drain your energy and create persistent emotional tension. Your self-respect, happiness, and growth deserve alignment with someone whose heart is fully present. By noticing how she responds to your strength, your ambitions, and your boundaries, you gain insight into her true feelings. These subtle cues, often overlooked, reveal whether her love is authentic or conditional, situational, or performative. And this awareness is critical because it gives you the power to make informed choices rather than hoping for a connection that may never fully exist. By now, you've noticed a pattern. The quiet signals, the small absences, the subtle inconsistencies that accumulate over time. These aren't random. They point to one undeniable truth. Love is not hidden in complexity. It's revealed through clarity and consistent emotional investment. The ultimate sign she doesn't truly love you isn't a single harsh word, a fight, or even a rejection. It's the absence of sustained, wholehearted effort, attention, and care over time. True love is not optional. It doesn't appear only when it's convenient, nor does it vanish when life gets complicated. Love shows up consistently through presence, patience, and emotional support. When these patterns are missing, when her gestures, words, and attention are unreliable, you are not experiencing love in its authentic form. Instead, you are experiencing a reflection of what she chooses to give, not the depth your heart deserves. The hardest part of seeing this truth is admitting it. Men often resist it because they fear loneliness, because hope convinces them she will change, or because they tie their identity and value to the relationship. But hope cannot replace reality. Emotional clarity is far more valuable than temporary comfort. Recognizing the absence of true love allows you to reclaim your energy, protect your heart, and make conscious choices that align with your worth. Understanding this isn't about bitterness or resentment, it's about awareness and self-respect. It's about noticing the patterns, trusting your intuition, and acknowledging reality without excuses. Love is consistent, reciprocal, and nurturing. When these qualities are missing, it's not a flaw in you. It's a reflection of her investment. By observing these signs, you gain the clarity to step back, make intentional choices, and seek relationships where love is authentic, mutual, and unwavering. You deserve a connection that uplifts your heart, respects your boundaries, and reflects true emotional commitment.